Hello everyone and welcome to the program Midday Discourse on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program as we settle, x-ray and have conversations around local government autonomy, and also in the second half of today's edition of Midday Discourse, we'll be having conversations around the opposition parties as they move to unseat President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 election. A whole lot has been happening within the local government areas, and different agencies, different writers, different activists have raised concerns. Citizens and individuals from different political parties have raised concerns around the happenings in Osun State. I'll bring you up to speed with what's currently happening in Osun State, and different writers, like I rightly mentioned, activists and Nigeria political parties have raised concern. But the most recent coming from the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has called on President Bola Tinubu and the Attorney General of the Federation to act swiftly in enforcing the rule of law in Osun State. The group also condemned what is described as illegal occupation of local government secretariats and APC loyalists. Our correspondent, Hosanna Okorafo, completes the reports.
The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, sounded the alarm over what it calls a breakdown of constitutional order in Osun State. The group demands that President Tinubu and the Attorney General of the Federation direct security agencies, particularly the Nigeria Police Force, to expel individuals loyal to All Progressives Congress who are reportedly occupying local government offices in defiance of a court ruling.
The Attorney General of the Federation, as the law officer of the country, must now act decisively in the interest of justice and we respect Mr. Prince Fabumi as a principled legal practitioner, a very senior one at that. He must demonstrate leadership by issuing clear directive for the immediate enforcement of the court's ruling.
The association expressed concern that despite the ruling, police officers continue to protect those illegally occupying the secretariats, commending the Attorney General of Osun State, Wole Jimmy Bada, for standing firm while beckoning on the federal government to restore democratic order across all 30 local councils in the state.
We're calling on the Attorney General of the Federation to advise the IG of Police, Dr. Kayode Ebotoku, to immediately withdraw all police personnel guarding the illegal occupation of the council and ensure that the duly elected PDP officials again access to their offices.
HURIWA vows to sustain its advocacy until justice is done and the PDP officials regain access to their offices. Hosanna Okorafo reporting for Global TV News.
With tensions going on currently within political parties, we're seeing defections and all of that happening, but still we're going to focus more in the local government areas where we've seen, elections conducted earlier in the year, and again, whichever states that are let's give an instance, an APC state where we have an APC governor. When elections were conducted, we also saw that the same councillorship and local government elections were all covered and won by the ruling party in the state. Now, questions are being asked by individuals and Nigerians that is it the wish of the people of a particular state that you get to see a ruling state governor, and again, his subordinates, talking about the councillors too, are also members of the same party. Does it mean that other party faithfuls, other party members, other political parties don't have candidates, or is it that the people of that said community and locality don't have faith in other parties to help bring productive measures and development into the country? We're going to ask those questions. We're going to see how we're going to get to the root of those and get answers. In that light, we'll also be finding out if INEC is doing enough to make sure that elections are actually very free and fair and not having people being bullied and forcing them to vote for parties. And the big question that would be asked on today's edition of the program is, do Nigerians' vote actually count? we're going to have all of this conversation, and immediately after this break, I'll be introducing my guests who would help us, do justice to this major talking point. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Midday Discuss, and we are set to get into the conversation of the day. We'll be looking at local government autonomy and the need to address issues around our local government. I have an elder statesman with me who would help do justice to this major conversation, the person of Dr. Autonomy. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. Good afternoon. And then let's get right into it. With the current happenings and a lot going on in states, local government autonomy was given by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. 774 local governments have access to direct funding from the Central Bank of Nigeria to their accounts because of the, incidents that have been happening over the years. The president looked into it and then said, no, things are not done this way. Funds should go straight to the local government so as they would be able to have their own demonstration and have development happen, and then he would know who to hold responsible if things are not being done properly. But fast forward, now we're seeing in Osun State there are some political hiccups going on within the same local government where from the report you just listened or heard from the President Emmanuel of Writers Association of Nigeria, we've seen that we have raised concerns about the fact that some APC members are illegally occupying the office in Osun State, that the election was conducted by a previous administration and then PDP won most of those offices. But still, there are certain APC members who are occupying this position, and also these writers have tagged it illegal for them to occupy those positions based on the fact that they did not get in there through a proper electoral process. So looking at this concern now, the local government has its full autonomy based on the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a member of the All Progressive Party, was the one that gave this autonomy to the local government. But now, under his watch still, we are having concerns about illegal occupants occupying local government positions in Osun State. Now, Dr. Autonomy, looking at this angle now, do you think enough is being done in the local government area, and what's your reaction to, a different political party occupying a position when a court has given a verdict?
One of the major problems we have in Nigeria is saying something and then doing it. Saying something and then doing it, you have granted local government autonomy. And there are what we call ambushments against that same policy. Just like we say concerning bandits. When bandits visit a community or terrorists visit a community, you will say, okay, the president condemns the act. The governor condemns the act. the IGP condemns the, as you are condemning the act, what are you doing? Is it condemning the act that will solve the problem? If you condemn the act, then take decisive steps to stop the act. We are full of condemnation, but don't you have the wherewithal to stop this thing? Don't you have enough military architecture to stop these things? So saying it is one thing entirely, and doing what you have said is another thing. So it seems to me as if granting this local government autonomy is a mere ball game. If the federal government means what she is saying, then it should be backed up with action. I cannot see the federal government standing against illegal occupation of the local council, and it will just fold our hands. If the federal government does not back those people who are illegally occupying those places, they will not be able to do it. So what we need to nip in the bud is to ensure that when the federal government says something, the federal government should mean it.
Okay, let's look at this angle now. You know, you're making mention of the federal government. Now, the Attorney General of the Federation, you know, and the court has actually given a verdict. Do you think that politics, it's going as eating deeply into the Nigerian judicial system? That's why whenever we see verdicts being given by the court, it's most of the times it tends not to be followed suit. What do you think is the major causes behind all of this?
Look, the major cause, yes, the major cause is that the three tiers of government are just a shadow. It is the presidency that is ruling the country unilaterally.
Okay.
The presidency controls the legislature and also controls the judiciary. The judiciary has nothing to do if the mind of the presidency is somewhere. The presidency nominates the judiciary to be ratified by the legislature, and the presidency equally controls what goes on in the judiciary. I made a suggestion here sometime that as the presidency is elected and the legislature is elected, the judiciary should also be elected
instead of appointed.
If the judiciary is not elected, the judiciary does not have autonomy. If they say anything contrary to what the presidency wants, the presidency can hack down on the judicial person in question. So that is how it is. So the problem we have in Nigeria is, it is the presidency that controls everything.
Okay. Well, looking at it from those angles now, well, presidency, who is obviously the #1 citizen of the Federation, makes lots of appointments in those lines, and all of those things now are now happening, and some incidents, you know, would always unfold, but it's still going to boil down to the president to take decisions. Talking about decisions being taken, just yesterday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the tax reform bill. Let's talk about that quickly, Dr. Sir. Looking at it now, the bill, what it says in a simple and a layman understanding, it means if you're earning below 100,000 naira, you would not be paying a tax. That's personal income tax, and then for a business doing 50 million annually and below, we'll be paying a little more or less on tax as well. So looking at this now in a long run, on paper, policies, obviously, Nigerian policies always looks very, very good on paper. But now, implementation has been one of the major concerns, just like what is happening within the local government areas. Doctor, how do you think this can be implemented? Because currently now it looks like Nigerian citizens will benefit from this, mostly the low income earners. In the long run now, do you see this sustainable and durable, and do you think it's also going to help curtail and help create more jobs in line of infrastructural development?
In the first instance, the act of the bill is a welcome development. Okay. It portends a stance of caring for the low-income earners, which actually I am a staunch advocate. Okay. Because since this government, we have seen that the government had been delving towards the rich, making the rich richer and making the poor poorer. You know, with what has been happening, we see a lot of poor people suffering. Do I tell you something about the day before yesterday? The day before yesterday was Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
There was this man, Apostle Joshua Selma, of Koinonia. So he offered to bless the poor with bags of rice. Came in with about 2 trailers of them. I don't know how people got the information. At Jabi, around that Chida Hotel, if you come and see the multitude of people that came, I was grateful to God because there was no stampede the day before yesterday. A bag of rice measured about a quarter of a bag, that's about 8 mudus. How people came from Maraba, came from Zuba, came from various areas within the suburbs of Abuja to line up. They could not even line up. They were struggling. If you come there, you will begin to pity for this country. That is to say that the poor people in this country are really suffering. The policy of the present government does not favor the poor at all. It's making the poor poorer and the rich richer. But with the current development of the tax reform bill, that low-income earners have to be exempted from paying taxes, if it can be followed up very well, I think it will be a headway for the poor. One of the problems we have in Nigeria is policy on paper and the policy in the actual sense of it being practiced. If, as the president has signed that bill into law, he can make sure that it is being followed up and brought to actual reality. It will be a welcome development.
Okay. Well, looking at least, those are something very developing, interesting that would help Nigerians in the long run, like you mentioned. But still, there are other angles now that Nigerians are still looking at, and Nigerians have welcomed this development. But still, let's talk about cost of living and transportation. Now, some persons have complained about the fact that they earn some lower than the minimum wage. Now, some also have earned a little bit above the minimum wage, but they also have the same concern about logistics and transportation. Looking at this now, with this current tax reform bill now, do you think it's still going to be beneficial in the long run, like I rightly mentioned earlier, to Nigerian citizens based on the current cost of food items in the market and the cost of transportation?
How much does a low-income earner pays as a tax? How much does he pay as a tax? If you are earning 100,000, can you pay taxes up to 10,000 naira? No, you can't pay tax up to 10,000 naira. if tax goes up to 10,000 naira, is rather ridiculous. Also, removing the taxes that these people pay does not really influence their economic stance. That is not the area. As I have always been saying, before you can touch the lives of people, touch fuel. Touch fuel. Fuel is taking everything. Fuel is taking everything. So the taxes, and how many people are working? How many people are working? About, if I am correct, about 70% of Nigerians, they don't benefit from the act of the bill. They don't. So we are still where we are. We are still where we are. That does not influence everything, anything eventually. It does not influence anything eventually. The person who is suffering from the scourges of this fuel price, you say, okay, don't pay tax again. And the tax that he does not pay is just about 5,000 naira out of 100,000 naira. How does it affect his economic stance? It does not eventually. So if the government really wants the people to have a positive impact of what she is doing, they know what to do. They really know what to do. How many people are of the working class? So to me, I see that it does not eventually mean anything to a poor person.
Okay, well, that angle now, those angles now, though things are being done by the president to, meet the needs of every Nigerian, over 200 million Nigerians, so with his policies under the Renewed Hope agenda. Okay, the president came into office, first thing that happened was the removal of fuel subsidy, and then later on pushed for local government autonomy. So far now, looking at the local government areas now, and over a couple of months now that this has been done, we've seen where state government and local government chairman, raising eyebrows and saying that they've still not gotten full implementation of the local government autonomy in terms of receiving funds directly from the Central Bank of Nigeria as instructed by the President of the Federation. So looking at this angles now, I think more things need to be done in line with seeing that all of these policies and, agendas that has been created by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be sailed through by his community. But we'll be going on a quick break. When we return back, we'll be having our next conversation as coalitions look to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027. Stay with us. We'll be right back shortly after this break. Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Midday Discuss, and we are set to have our next conversation around coalition talks as opposition move to unseat President Tinubu come 2027. This has been a major concerns. We've seen likes of the former Vice President of the Federation, Atiku Abubakar, also the former Governor and Minister of Transportation from River State, Rotimi Amici, and the former Governor of Kaduna, El-Rufai, all of them coming together to form a strong coalition to unseat the current ruling party of the All Progressive Congress, who is the president now, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So looking at this now, we'll be having these conversations in line with strategies and what they have in place to build a strong strategy to unseat this current administration, based on the fact that they're saying that the policies is not feasible and is not in line in the long run to benefit Nigeria. PDP, Labour Party are still there, but still the PDP have their own internal issues which they have not even settled on who the national secretary of the party is. That on the other side, Labour Party also having their own rifts. But now we see the coalition of top leaders, former leaders, talking about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former governors and ministers of the Federation, all coming together to form a coalition that would unseat this current administration. But how will that be possible? What strategies do they have in place to see that all of these activities or all of these happenings would be feasible in the long run? Now, let's have this conversation, Dr. Bartholomew. Looking at this now, what key factors do you think can lead to the coalition, and how do you see this evolving in the next couple of months?
The major strategy that I feel will lead them to success is dropping selfishness. If this person comes and says, okay, I should be the flag bearer of the new party, the coalition has resulted into the All Democratic Alliance. Fatiku wants to be the flag bearer. El-Rufai wants to be the flag bearer. Aregbe Oshola wants to be the flag bearer. Amechi wants to be the flag bearer. Obi wants to be the flag bearer. And they don't sit down very well to map out their strategies. They will fail.
Okay.
They themselves, they know. We that are the commoners, we know. And those that are the top echelon, they know that people are not in tune with the present government. It's not benefiting the masses. If you see the defections that are happening, they are happening amongst the top echelon, people who want to be re-elected. And you could see some of them threatening people in their cabinet, if you don't defect with me, then drop
your resignation
letter. Those are the people, they click of those people at the top. They are the ones with Tinubu. We, the commoners, we are not with him because we are not benefiting from him. He increased the fuel price and then increased the emoluments of those in that hierarchy. The National Assembly, their emoluments were increased. They don't feel the scourge of the fuel prices. It is we that are feeling it. It is we that are finding it difficult. We have cried. No more tears in our eyes to run down the cheeks. So amongst us, the low-income men, we are not comfortable with the present government. So if the coalition map out their formula very well, the masses are for them. The masses are for them. They are not for the present government. And actually, we know that those that are in government presently, they are so egocentric. They are not people-centric. How will you now begin to plan for your second term now, when you have not yet even finished the first term? You know, the urge for the second term started, I think, about 3 months ago to 5 months ago. When you have not yet gone halfway, posters everywhere. You are seeing it. What are you doing about it? You are more concerned about the retention of your position than the welfare of the people. And the people, they are aware of this. You too, you are aware of it. But the only thing is that since you have the knife and you have the knife, you feel you can be there by force. But what I stand here to tell people is that it's not a human being that owns this country. It's God that owns this country. And God knows tomorrow. God knows what will happen tomorrow. Can we learn a lesson from the life of Abacha? Did Abacha expect what happened to him? Any one of us can be Abacha. I can be an Abacha. God can say that I won't see tomorrow, I won't see tomorrow. He's the owner of tomorrow. So when you are planning things, put God into your discourse. We all go to mosque, we all go to church, but in our actions, in our activities, we don't see God there. So what I have, in short, to tell you, the coalition is what people are after. But those that are leading this coalition, if they drop selfishness, if they drop greed, they will be able to succeed.
Okay, talking about the coalition now and the members you mentioned, let's look at it from this angle now. You know, it's looking as if based on defection that you mentioned about, we've seen lots of state governors and, you know, both sitting and those not sitting, defecting to the All Progressive Congress, which in line looks as if we're about having a one system state in Nigeria or one party system in Nigeria. If that does happen, do you think Nigerians will still enjoy the dividends of democracy?
What I am feeling, the Nigeria that I know is not the Nigeria that can have a one-party system. We couldn't have a one-party system during Obasanjo. Is it during this era that we'll have a one-party system? What we are seeing, worse things happened during Obasanjo's time. Obasanjo was more brutal in approaches to democratic activities than we are seeing now. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
One-party system did not evolve. So, one-party system that people are talking about, I don't know how it will be. I have already told you, all those people that are moving into APC, they are at the top echelon. Anybody that is following them because of the peanuts they are giving the person. But all said and done, I still want to say that God has his own plans. God still has his own plans. As you are busy planning on what you feel should be obtainable, God has his own plan. Between now and the next 2 years, it's quite a long time for God to do what he wants to do. But as for one-party system, I don't think it's going to happen. And these people, all these people that are moving to APC, when they go there, they will still cause trouble. Because a left-hander can never forget his skills. A left-hander. So all of them, since why they are going to APC is selfish. Since they are driven by selfish means, they will not have peace there. You will see that there will be commotion greater than what is even happening in PDP now, greater than what is even happening in Labour Party now. You will see it.
So you're saying that this defection we are seeing now is based on, should I say, marriage by convenience? In the sense that people are just defecting based on the fact that, okay, it's more convenient for them to, you know, achieve their political aim in the short term.
It's greed that is pushing them. They don't have any sound democratic values to push to the people that this is why I am defecting. I don't have enough information about Siminalai Fubara.
Yes.
They are noising about that he is equally planning defection.
Well, we had those as rumors.
They are rumors.
Yes.
Okay, how I wish they are. How I wish they are. If they are rumors, then I thank God. Then I thank God. But what I have here to say, they are not getting into APC because they see anything good in APC. But they are going there because it's a place they feel they can have soft landing for what they are pursuing to get. It's not that they are going there because they love the people. No. If they love the people have always been crying. We are not comfortable. Look at the killings everywhere. What has been done? What has been done about the killings?
The IGP of police on Wednesday this week, you gave a report that around 26 suspected those that brains behind the killing in Benue State in Yelwata, to be precise, have been arrested and are being investigated.
The arrest and the investigation is not what we are looking for. Because several people had been arrested and investigated. At the end, you will now say, okay, let them grant them presidential pardon. You will now say, let them give them amnesty. You will now say, let them reintegrate them into the society. And the rest of them. We have enough of them now. If they did that to Boko Haram, convicts, they can do it to any other person. So, arrest and investigation is not what needs the issue to the ball. Is the actualization. Those who went to Yelwata and killed people should be killed. Their case should be fast-tracked and let them be convicted and killed. That is when people will be afraid. You know, after the Yelwata issue, do you know that some certain banditry action has still been going on in the country? Because they are settled within their minds that the highest thing that can happen to them is for them to be arrested. When they are arrested, they are investigated and kept in detention. After a while, they will release them. Now, let me ask you one question. Those who went to the streets to protest in Makodi, why were they arrested? Why? Can you tell me?
I didn't get reports about those.
No, they were arrested, and I used to hear that some people were canvassing for their release. I don't have the real information about it, but I feel right now they are still in detention.
All of these are not confirmed, they're just alleged.
But the last time that I heard about it was that they were arrested. In the first place, even if they have been released, why were they arrested in the first place? And you don't have record of properties that they have destroyed. People that they have gone to their towns, their community, and killed the people, and they came out protesting. You say, why should they protest? You arrested them and kept them in detention. You're a journalist. I want you to go and find out very well. I think they are still in detention. And even if they have been released, why were they arrested in the first place? You beat a child, you say the child should not cry. You want to kill somebody's mother, you say the person should not cry. The person should not cry. So that is the issue. So Nigeria has to come out in the form that we will believe them that they are honest with administration. Let them convince us. We are not yet convinced.
That's both for the All Progressive Party and the coalition.
The government as a whole are not convincing us that they are ready to deliver to us the dividends of this democracy. They are not. All the things that are happening, is it that the federal government does not have the power to crush these people? They have the power 10 times to crush them. Why are they still there? They know where these people are. When they get to them, they dialogue with them. Why will you dialogue with a bandit? Why will you dialogue with a terrorist? Why will you dialogue with an assassinator? Why will you dialogue with somebody who is heartless? And the job is all out to go and kill, and you know, when you get that person, kill that person immediately. And there will be peace. And there will be peace. Okay, they use data, they are not afraid, they are not afraid. You have not done something that will make them to be afraid. You have not done something that will make, if you do something that will make them to be afraid, they will definitely be afraid.
Okay, let's move on. So now we're still talking about the coalition and then their move to unseat President Tinubu in 2027. So you've actually highlighted, some series of concerns that the coalitions need to put into consideration in line with convincing Nigerians on reason why they should vote for them. But like looking at what President Bola Ahmed has been doing just this past week, we saw him commission over 9,000 tractors for farmers, and still in the electrical power sector, energy sector, we see an increment from 4,000 to 6,000 to about 6,000 to 8,000 megawatts being generated as we speak for power, and then we're seeing developments in those angles. And also this is being led by Dr. Abdullahi Mustafa, the Director General of Energy Commission of Nigeria, under the supervision of the Minister of Science, Tech and Innovation. So looking at these angles now, we have lots of concerns, infrastructural issues. How do you think the coalition now can step in, and what strategies do you think they will need to put in place to convince Nigerians, like you mentioned, that we are not convinced yet? And what do you think they can do more? What policies do you think they can introduce into the system that would make Nigerians vote for them come 2027?
Look, I have already told you what they need to do. When they come to power, I don't have to preempt what they will be able to do when they come to power. But for now, as they are agitating to unseat the present government, what they need to do to put in place to succeed is what I have told you. Now, what the present government is doing, like the commissioning of about 900 tractors that you're talking about, tractors to do what?
For farmers, agriculture.
For farmers. And the herdsmen will come and devour the crops, and you keep you keep silence. You fold your arms and you are watching the headers. Do we need the tractors? We don't need the tractors now. But we need freedom to operate. We don't have that freedom. Give us the tractors, we go to the farm, we do the farming, and after doing the farming, the headers, they bring their cattle and devour what you have farmed. Doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. So rather than bringing the tractors, check the activities of the headers. They are a nuisance to this country. They are causing a lot of harm. They don't make the youths to go to the farm to work. And that is, to me, part of the things that is causing the youths to get into this insecurity problem. Now you now go and tell the youth, why are you doing this thing now? You didn't go to school and you are not going to the farm. Say, okay, I should go to the farm so that the Fulanis will come and kill me. So these 900 tractors that we are talking about, the resources pushed into these 900 tractors, push those resources to check the excesses of the Fulanis. Let those who would go to the farm have the freedom to do so. The Fulanis, they are raping our women. They are massacring people. What are you doing? And you are commissioning tractors. When you commission these tractors, those people, they will not use the tractors, because they know that even when they use the tractors and they go to the farm and farm, the Fulanis will come and kill them, and you don't do anything. Who will do that? Why do we marry wives? We marry wives for companionship. We marry wives, in most cases, in the African culture, to raise children. But when you go and marry a wife, the wife does not give birth, and the wife does not give you peace. What is the essence of marrying a wife? The wife must do one of these things now. Of course, if the wife cannot conceive, no problem. We can look at it as an act of God. But in addition to that, the wife does not conceive, and the wife does not give you rest. You will not be able to say, okay, why did I marry this wife? So what are the tractors for? What are the tractors for? Your own land, the Fulani will come and occupy it there. If you will come there and farm at all, the Fulani will tell you, pay me this amount of money. Then your crops will be saved. If you don't pay me this amount of money, if you farm, I will come there and destroy the farm produce, and there is nothing you can do about it. And actually, there's nothing the people can do about it. You, the federal government, you are watching people deploying arms to these Fulanis to use it to wreck people. Address that one. Let the people have their freedom. If we have our freedom, the time that tractors had not been in this country, we had more food than now that the tractors are here. Our people, they are able people. They are able to fight. So I see it that all these things is just a jamboree, making noise. And those noises, they are not being heard. It is those of you within that hierarchy of echelon that are hearing the noise. We, the commoners, we are not hearing the noise. We are not hearing anything that you are saying. If you don't hit the nail on the head, insecurity problem is a great problem in this country. This present government has not been able to nib it in the bud. To go from here, tackle the insecurity problem.
All right, we'll be going on a quick break, and then when we return back, we'll be having more conversations around this line as we get set to wrap up. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is still Midday Discuss, but we are set to wrap up. We've been having great conversations with the elder statesman, Dr. Autonomy, who has been making justice to the major talking points we're having around coalition as they make plans to unseat President Bola Tinubu come 2027. And also we looked at local government autonomy, and we drove towards the full implementation of what President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has, given. So we'll be looking at other angles now. But as we wrap up, Doctor, what is your final take about the whole conversation we've been having today around the local government autonomy, as well as the coalition as they plan to unseat President Tinubu come 2027?
from the end of the local government autonomy, you know that the federal government of Nigeria is a giant. Whatever the federal government wants to do, you can't stop him. You can never stop the federal government from doing whatever he wants to do, most especially if the intention is genuine. You can never stop the federal government. The federal government has given a mandate on local government autonomy, and there are still some people mesmerizing around it. Then it calls for some question. Then there are a lot of things to be desired there. Let the federal government tell us that they are sincere about this local government autonomy of 18. If they are sincere about it, there is no Jupiter that can come and mess around with what the federal government has already said. That is that part of the local government autonomy. And as per the coalition, I've already told you, those who appear to be comfortable with the present government are people who are eating from the government. And most likely, amongst people of the top class, they are the ones. We that are low-income earners, we are not comfortable with this government. And the coalition, if the coalition must succeed, then the advocates must learn to play the game according to the rule. You know, selfishness will mar up the whole thing. If you are selfish, you say, I must be the flag bearer, I must be the... If that one comes in, they will fail. But as they have made us to understand, if they have seen the plight of Nigerians, according to what they say, and they now say, okay, we want to unseat Tinubu and bring in a government that is people-centric, and they mean it, then selfishness should go away. If selfishness goes away, it may not be any among the 4 or 5 of them. It may not be Atiku. It may not be Arebe. It may not be Rufa. It may not be P2B. It may not be Amechi. It may not be any one of them. And it could be any one of them. What I'm trying to tell them, the formula I propose for them is to drop egocentrism. Is to drop, I must be the one. Drop it. If you drop it, it will succeed. But if you don't drop it, even among this coalition, there will still be crisis. The time is still there, and events are rolling up.
Oh, events are actually rolling up, as we've seen. The FCT minister and the governor of River State, Larry Fubara, have finally made peace, and reports reaching us that peace has finally reached the state of River State, as the FCT minister and Larry Fubara have both agreed to work together for the unity, progression, and infrastructural development of River State. I want to say a very big thank you to the entire production team and to Dr. Autonomy for taking our time to join us today on today's edition of Midday Discuss. Thank you very much for taking our time to join us today, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Yes. So this is how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Midday Discourse. My name is Samuel Odi. I'll see you again as we discuss further. Bye for now.